Hey all, this is Xenoxis. Today it's the 19th of May 2022. It's a Thursday and there go some things to talk about. Just gonna double check again so the volume is fine. Yeah, it is. And I have the gain on maximum. I have it in the second mode. And yeah, actually, put it like this. At one point though, I managed to check the bottom of this, and then it kind of went back a certain way. It went into like almost tilted like that, and then it sounded like it changed the audio completely and stuff, which is a bit weird. So yeah, the thing though I'm bothered with is it feels like there is that lag again. But I don't know where or what is like causing the lag. If it's like maybe there is a certain enhancement I need to turn on. Maybe it's the camera itself. Maybe it's in the wrong hertz or whatever. Where did I check the hertz value? I probably can't do it now right when it's on. Because yeah, it's in the 50 Hz mode, but maybe it needs to be 60 Hz, but then it feels like 60 Hz is too quick, right? Because the 50 Hz value, the question is, should it be 50 Hz just because I'm in the PAL region, right? Is that the thing that's like... see, here's the thing, right? Like, they call it not net frequency, and then I know it's like 50 Hz in PAL, and it's 60 Hz with NTCS, but does that matter anymore? Or is it like you could damage the camera if you have it in 60 Hz? Is that like a thing, you know? Or whatever, you know? But yeah, it is the compensation for weak light, and I can turn it off. But I think it is more colorful like this. Okay, so that definitely darkens it, that brightens it, okay. So we're gonna have that because it's just so bright aside. Yeah. And I'm still thinking about that 4K camera, actually, the Logitech Brio it's called. Logitech Brio 4K Stream Edition. Is that still in stock? Yes, it is. It's 2,490. Because it's Ultra 4K with HDR, 1080 with 60 FPS. I get 12 months of XSplit. But I mean, you shouldn't need to do it with XSplit, but yeah. XSplit broadcaster, so yeah, so it's, I mean, it's made for streaming, but I definitely hope that it has the Logitech thing in it anyway. Like, yeah. So it's very, very easy to just plug in. Okay, good. It looks really fucking nice as well, but it looks like really, really big. It's a pretty chunky dude. But yeah. I mean, I will just improve my quality so much, man. Just because, you know, I mean, so you can see all that sexy detail, you know. And stuff there. But anyway, so yesterday I finally decided to get the DLC for Age of Empires 2, the Definitive Edition and stuff that. So that was really, really great. It is quite crazy though, because, like I want to explain, right, because there is a lot of people out there that were into the original game, which came out, I believe, in 1999, Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings. And then I believe just a year after that, during 2000, I believe the only expansion mind you, that came out for the game was Age of Conquerors and stuff there. Also sometimes called Age of Conquest for whatever reason, like some people call it Age of Conquest sometimes instead of Age of Conquerors, but yeah. And it was the only expansion that came out. Then later on, there was an HD version, which I never played, by the way. And which, mind you, there is a lot of people, like I was in that situation, of course, that I never played the HD version. and I was a late adopter of the HD, or of the Definitive Edition. So basically 2 of the DLC were already out, I believe, for the Definitive Edition when I got it. Both Lords of the West and Dawn of the Dukes, I believe, was out when I got it. But the Dynasty of India, of course, was not out yet at that point. And I waited, of course, because I knew that they were gonna release like a third thing, pretty much, because it had already been like rumored for a really long time and stuff that. So yeah. So waiting for that to come out, of course, the Dynasty of India, which actually came out 28th of April this month. So I waited a bit into this month, because some of the other months have been a bit expensive with the money I've spent. So yeah, so I waited a bit to the later of the month. So yeah. But anyway, originally, and now in total, there are 42 civilizations. In the base game, of course, Age of Kings, Age of Empires 2, the Age of Kings. There were 13 civilizations. They had 5 more civilizations with the Conquerors expansion, of course. So Age of Empires 2, the Conquerors was the expansion set. And then they added 5 in the Forgotten, and both the Forgotten in the African kingdoms and in Rise of the Rajas. All of those were for the HD edition of the game that came out. So Age of Conquerors, of course. 5 were adding the Age of Conquerors. Yeah, 5 were adding the Conquerors, 5 in the Forgotten, 4 in the African kingdoms, and 4 in the Rise of Rajas. Then 4 in the Last Khans as part of the Definitive Edition, because the Definitive Edition came with the new civilizations. And then 2 were added in the Lords of the West, 2 in Dawn of the Dukes, and 3 in Dynasty of India. Technically 4 though, because they remade India into Hindustani or Hindustanis, but that became available for all the players. And one thing that is interesting, of course, there were certain of the default so to speak, factions. Certain of the default factions did not get a campaign. So in the Age of Kings, you had Britons, Byzantines, Celts, Chinese, Franks, Goths, Japanese, Mongols, Persians, Saracens, Teutons, Turks, and Vikings. And then in the Conquerors, of course, they added Aztecs, Huns, Koreans, Mayans, and Spanish. And then with the Forgotten, which was the first expansion, I believe, for... that's weird. So they have been Hindustanis before. At one point, the Indians... well, no, they call it Hindustanis now, but that was Indians. Was that at that point? Yeah, that's why it's so confusing. Because Hindustanis wasn't added until Dynasties of India, but of course it meant in India here, of course, for the Forgotten. So the Forgotten was, of course, the Forgotten might have actually been the actual release then of the HD game, and not just like an expansion, of course. Or it might have been, because it seems like that is a bit low then. No, it's 5 in the Forgotten, yeah. 5 in the Forgotten, because then that makes sense. So the Forgotten, of course, added Hindustanis, or Indians as it was then, Incans, Italians, Magyars, and Slavs. That was in the Forgotten. I don't know if I can go in on the Forgotten here. It doesn't say anything more there on the Forgotten. Can I go in on it more? SAOF is the second official expansion for the Age of Empires 2. But that's base game Age of Empires 2 HD. So that was the second expansion, yeah. Original release date November 7, 2013. And it originated as a fan expansion, basically. It was like a fan expansion at first, but then they actually made it an official expansion, and they made it even better and stuff like that, so yeah. Let's see if I go back up here. Or just jump up. Damn, it got laggy because of that. There we go, now it's fixed. So then, after that, the next expansion after that was the African kingdoms, which added Berbers, Ethiopians, Malians, and Portuguese. A bit weird with Portuguese in African kingdoms, okay. I guess they might have had colonies there or something. But then, of course, after that, they had a Rise of the Rayas, which was the final for HD, I believe, if I go in on Rise of Rayas here. Yeah, for the expansion for the game. Age of Empires 2 HD, that was 2016. It was the third expansion developed by Skylabs and Forgotten Empires. Yeah, because those are the ones fans made the HD version of the game, kinda, or however it works. Alright, that's a dark team. Yeah, that looks so much better, man. That's so much nicer on the eyes. That just makes it easier to read. It might be that I haven't updated the JavaScript lately. That might be it actually, why it is a bit laggy. Then, of course, Rise of Rayas. Did I mention that yet? No. But Rise of Rayas, of course, Burmese, Khmer, Malay, and Vietnamese were in that. And of course, the definitive edition came out. And the definitive edition was, of course, in the last cons as part of the definitive edition. But keep in mind, the last cons campaigns, I believe those campaigns aren't with the ones that are mentioned here. They are not part of the actual campaigns. Because the thing was, the specific name, the last cons, were specific campaigns, and I believe that those, the ones that they added, were not those campaigns, whatever it is. So yeah, definitive edition added Bulgarians, Cumans, Lithuanians, and Tatars. And for some reason I thought that Tatars was actually parts of the India thing, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Because it kind of feels like a civ like that, kinda. Oh, it had a camel instead. It had a Kashyyyk and Flaming Camel, yeah. Because you actually play as the Tatars during the actual... oh, I can just press back there and I can get back there, okay. That's good. Then, of course, the first expansion for the definitive edition was Lords of the West, which are the Burgundians and Sicilians. Then the expansion after that was Dawn of the Dukes, which are the Bohemians and Poles. And then finally the expansion which is most current, which came out this year on the 28th of April, I believe it was. The Dynasties of India, which added Bengalis, Davidians, and Gurjaras, and revamped Indians. So let's go Indians first here then. So the specialty is camel riders and gunpowder units. The unique unit is Glam and Imperial Camel Rider. I believe Imperial Camel Rider is actually new. I'm pretty certain. I wonder if they do mention it. Because yeah, it's very, very cool, because the Camel Riders do not have like an unique upgrade, because they are basically the fun things, yeah. Oh. Oh no, they have have been in the game before, but yeah. But with the Dynasties of India, Imperial Camel Riders have 8 attack, 5 land on sight, and now attacks 25% fast instead of having 2+ pierce armor. Hindustanis regain access to plate barding armor. Which is interesting. So yeah. And they also have bonuses versus quite a few things. So 18+ versus cavalry, 9+ versus other camels, and 9+ versus ships, 9+ versus fishing ships, 7+ versus Mameluke, and 2 versus standard buildings. So yeah, they're pretty nice. They are 1.45 in speed. Then of course we also have the Ghulam, which I believe is, were added in the Dynasties of India. It's a unique unit of the Hindustanis in Age of Empires II Definitive Edition Dynasties of India, trained from the castle, replacing the Indians' Elephant Archer. So Elephant Archer, by the way, if we're going on this here. So the Elephant Archer was the first unique unit of the Indians in Age of Empires II HD, The Forgotten. It's a heavily cavalry archer with low speed but very low hit points. In Dynasties of India, Elephant Archer lose their status as a unique unit for the Indians, to now become a regional unit for the Bengalis, Dravidian and Gujaras, but not for the Hindustanis. Which is a bit weird, so the Hindustanis lose their unique unit, but it's made available for the other ones. And stuff that, which is a bit weird though, to be fair, because, you know, like that was part of their quote-unquote identity, so to speak, the Indians before. But now they're the Hindustanis, and the Hindustanis are not the same, because basically the Indians are split, so they're basically 4 factions, so they are the Bengalis, Dravidians, Gujaras, and the Hindustanis, so yeah. But it is pretty cool that so many more now get access to the Elephant Archer. Some more Elephant Archer for people, which is, you know, nice. You know, since I do love me some elephants. But the Ghulam is pretty interesting, because, so yes, replacing the Indians' Elephant Archer, it is an anti-archer infantry. The thrust is speared through multiple targets, and it's adapted against masses of archers, but weak versus cavalry. So you can, of course, protect it with camels, of course. And now, the thing that's also interesting with this is other anti-archer units are, of course, the spear throwing guys, which, you know, are considered kind of like a trash unit. Otherwise, I forgot what they're even called, because it's very rare that you would train them, even if your opponent has a lot of archer units. It's just very, very rare that they train them, because the thing is, if there's too many archer units, they're just gonna kill those units anyway. It's kind of most of the time, I feel like. But yeah. So, yeah. Attack bonuses, +5, +6 when they're elite. Or the +6 is when it's elite versus archer. 2+ versus eagle warrior, and 2+ versus standard building. With 2.0, pierce armor is 3.6 on the elite, and the speed is 1.15 and 1.2 for the elite. Line of 6 is 6, which is pretty good. The Ghulam is a peculiar infantry unit. Most infantry are weak against archers due to their low movement speed and low pierce armor. Ghulams have high pierce armor, fast movement speed, and attack bonus versus archers, and its attack is deals damage to the units behind its targets. Ghulams excel at taking down armies of archers, especially if massed. In its anti-archer infantry role, Ghulams can be compared in some ways with Goths, Skulls, and Eagle Warriors. Eagle Warriors, of course, being available for quite a few, because I believe Eagle Warriors weren't unique, but were instead available to, I think, but I'm not remembering it, probably 100% correct. Skulls have slower movement, but higher attack bonus versus archer and buildings, and better pierce armor compared to Eagle Warriors. Both units have fast movement speed. Elite Eagle Warriors still move faster than Elite Ghulams. Good pierce armor. Ghulam base pierce armor is better than the base pierce armor of Eagle Warrior. but in this case Iggy Warrior lacks an anti-archer bonus attack. The thrusting attack of the Golem can be compared in a way with the ranged attack of a Kamayuk. However, the Golem attack effect only applies if 2 enemy units are aligned in a row, since they do not have range. Golems fill an important role in the Hindustani army, covering a natural weakness hand cannoners and camel riders have against archers, since these 2 units are specialized in countering infantry and cavalry, respectively. Since Golems are highly vulnerable against melee attacks, they should be paired with either camel riders or hand cannoneers. So yeah, team bonuses. Here are some important ones. A team containing Bulgarians, blacksmith upgrades are researched 80% faster. A team containing Goths researching arson and squires is 20% faster. A team containing Lithuanians researching fate is 20% faster. And Teutons Golems more resistant to conversions. Yeah, they were slave soldier, yeah. But yeah, they are pretty cool. Pretty nice. Of course, the unique text for the Hindustanis are Grand Trunk Road, all gold production, 10% faster. I mean, gold production. Wait. Because you don't really produce gold unless you consider it being like if you consider it to be how you say, like, is it just relic they mean? Grand Trunk Road, previously named Sultans, or increase the speed of our gold income. Okay, all the gold income, so mining, trading, and relics by 10%. Yeah, trade cards and cogs generate 10% more gold per trip, and relics regenerate gold 10% faster, or 3 plus gold per minute, in addition to the default 30 gold per minute. For a civilization heavily reliant on gold-intensive troops, camel riders, hand cannons, bombard cannons, so that is a priority research when I play them. And then of course, Shatagani hand cannoners plus 2+ range, which is pretty nice. The Wanderer is pretty interesting because Gold Gombas, that was before Rise of the Rajas, and then Briades Varar Temple from Rise of Rajas to Dynasties of India, and then Makbara I Humayun since Dynasties of India. The bonuses are villages are 10%, 15%, 20% and 25% cheaper in the Dark Feudal Castle and Imperial Age. Camel units attack 25% faster. Gunpowder units have a +1 pierce armor in the Castle / Imperial Age, so it's actually 2+ pierce armor in total there added. Can build Caravanserai in Imperial Age. Team bonus: camel units and light cavalry units have 2+ attack versus standard buildings. Then I need to go further down here then, because that was of course the first one. That was the one that was changed. And now we go down to the actual Dynasties of India here, the other ones that were added, that you required a DLC to actually get. And it's the Bengalis, Dravidians, and Gurjaras. So let's go with the Bengalis first. So the Bengalis, their specialty is elephant units and ships. Their unique unit is the Rata, which is pretty interesting. So Rata is the unique unit on the Bengalis. It's a sturdy cavalry archer that can switch to melee attack and back. So it is a camel. Not a camel. I mean, they say a sturdy cavalry archer. I think I call it a sturdy camel archer, no. But it's a cavalry archer that can switch melee and back, so it basically rides on a chariot, almost, kind of thing. And stuff that, so yeah. In practice, there are 2 separate units rather than one ranged and melee. So yeah, so it can change. So armor classes of an archer, cavalry, and a unique unit. So it is pretty interesting. So in practice, there are 2 separate units rather than one ranged and melee, which can turn into the other clicking on a button. Unupgraded Ratas have the same ranged attack as a crossbowman and the same melee attack as knight. Because of these, they serve simultaneously as the Bengalis replacement for the cavalry archer and knight lines, which they have no access to. Unlike knight, Ratas have the archer and the cavalry archer armor classes even while fighting in melee mode, which makes them vulnerable to anti-archer units such as skirmishers, skulls, and gulams and camel archers. They're also slower than mounted archers and more difficult to mass because of having to be produced from castles. The main advantage of the Rata is that switching modes enables flexibility for dealing with different types of units. For example, in ranged mode, the Ratas are able to hit and run slower and non-ranged units such as champions or halberdiers. The other player has to be cautious with halberdiers if they cut distance. And in melee mode, they can better attack siege units and skirmishers due to the minimum range, though the player has to be cautious with skirmishers when approaching them. Switching attack modes also enables the Rata to better respond to units with good melee armor, but by pierce armor, and vice versa. For example, it is more convenient to use Rata in range mode against Teutonic Knights, which have a lot of melee armor, but also one have bad pierce armor. And in the case of Huskarls, it's better to switch to melee mode since they have low melee armor, but pierce armor. Since Bengalis lack the entire knight line, the Rata can be used as wood-costing knights with 10% slower attack. Ratas attack 8% faster than knight off the pikes, 3.7% slower movement, difficult to mass, and vulnerability to ranged units due to having 1 less pierce armor, especially skirmishers. They have archer and cavalry armor classes. Although elephant archers are more durable than common cavalry archers, they are 35.7% slower and demand much food. The Rata does a better job at being cavalry archers, as they are cheaper and faster than elephant archers. However, the elite upgrade only gives 10 hit points, a slightly better accuracy, and 1 pierce attack in range, while 2+ melee attack. They do, however, benefit from partial tactics, which makes them beefier, especially against ranged units, and gives attacks against pikemen. So yeah, so they are pretty interesting. And of course, they do change what weapon they have. They have like a pretty big bow. That's probably not even a composite bow. That's probably like a battle bow, I believe they're called. And then of course in melee, they have a pretty chunky looking sword and a shield. Yeah. Then of course the other unique unit is that's the only unique unit actually, which is weird. They don't have 2. Huh. Okay. I'm guessing because they technically are 2 units in one. But the unique technology is these pikes. Ratas and elephants units attack 20% faster. Mahayana villagers take up 10% less population space. Which I believe allows for slightly more villagers. Because like 10% doesn't mean that normally a village only costs 1 population, that it would cost 0. That's not what it is. But it is instead like because I mean, if you add more over time, depending on how many villages you have, they are kind of different. So yeah. Civilization bonuses are elephant units receive minus 25% bonus damage and are more resistant to conversion. So they basically did more damage than don't know why they say minus 25% bonus damage. Or do they mean that they take less bonus damage from things then? They could word this a bit better because it says receive minus 25% bonus damage. So I'm guessing that means that they take just less damage than from like pikes and other things that would counter elephants. Town center spawns 2 villages when the next age is reached, which is, you know, pretty good. Oh, God fucking damn it. Ass fuck. Yeah, well, of course that would happen. It happens, of course it happens that I just knock it off because I didn't think where I placed it. God fucking damn it, and then this is probably gonna fall over and then knock over it again. So I'm moving the water bottle away. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, and then the base of this electronic will be that was so much of the fucking drink. That was so much of the monster. Just like, yeah, you just spill half the fucking container or whatever. Like, and then this whole fucking thing getting like smushy and stuff. That, oh man, shit. Piss. It would be less of an issue if it wasn't like, electronics here and stuff that, not that there's really any, like, there's nothing like that it could have, like, gone into, like, there's no port or whatever it could have gone into. Oh, the input selection, that's like a digital option in. So, yeah. Okay, and I think I don't know why this. Okay. Oh man. My apologies, man. My apologies. That was fucking stupid, man. I have no idea. Like, why did I put this? Like, and here's the thing, right? I probably lost this amount. I probably lost something like this amount, or whatever of it, or something like that, because there's only very, very little left now. Like, because it basically became like it covered like this wider one area, basically this wider one area they cover. So I have no idea why I did put, because this one here I did put it like here, just to the side of the mouse. I didn't realize it because normally I place it further up. Normally I place it a bit closer to where I would have the microphone, like where I normally have the microphone when I'm not recording and stuff that. So when I needed to like clean this and everything, and oh man, and then almost knocking other stuff over, oh, man. Yeah, that was not fun, man. That was not fun at all, man. That was not great. That was not great. Do not recommend that. Do not recommend that at all, man. That was a bit weird. That was a bit weird. No, that was not fun. Man, that was just annoying. Like losing so much of the drink. Like it was just so much. And it was not only that it spilled to the left of this thing. Of the thing. Let me just show you, damn it. So this is of course where the station is. And then it was like here. It started here kinda. And then it went all the way over to the other side of it. And then it was up here as well. And stuff that, and then it was just this whole thing down here became wet and stuff that, so I needed to lift it up, I needed to clean under it and stuff that, so yeah. So it was a lot, because it became like kind of thick and stuff that. Now the best thing is of course is that the best thing of course is that it is a sugar-free monster. It's one of the older ones, so yeah. Because if this would have been a sugar monster and I would have spilled it like that, then this would have gotten like really, really, really bad. And stuff that I can probably move the water bottle back now, actually. Yeah, that was not fun to spill out that much. That was not great at all. Not great. Not great at all. Don't you know? Anyway, ships regenerate 50 in HP per minute, which is not super great, but being able to have ships recover health over time is actually pretty good, especially if the opponent doesn't attack super often. You can just make your ships last way longer and stuff that, and yeah. And it just means that it will be way harder to kill your fleet off. And the team bonus they give is the trade units yield 10% food in addition to gold. I forgot what was the Hindustani bonus? That was weird. Alright, the team bonus is the camel units and light cavalry units have 2+ attack versus stun buildings. Yeah, that was the team bonus. And keep in mind that the team bonus, I believe, also affect yourself. So you always get that bonus, I believe, even if not in team games. I believe, right? The team bonus. Or is it only applied in team games? So I forgot exactly how it worked, but yeah. Or if it only affects others, but yeah. Then of course next up we have the Davidians. The Davidians is kinda slightly my favorite a bit. So the focus is infantry and ships. So the Davidians is pretty interesting. They have the two unique units. It's Urum Swordsman and Thirisadai. And the unique technologies are Medical Corps, Elephant units regenerate 20 HP per minute, which is quite a lot, but the main problem is Elephant units tend to have a lot of health, so yeah. And then of course Woods Steel, which as you know is a certain type of Damascus steel. Basically it's done in like a water kind of type smithing technique. There is a specific smithing technique because there's no such thing really as real Damascus steel, but it's a special, almost kind of like an alloy. I guess it's kind of what you can call it. It's a special technique, but then it has a certain composite of what it actually is made up of. But yeah. And that makes it so that infantry and cavalry attacks ignore armor, which is a bit weird because they say the focus is on ships. I mean, it would have been interesting if it would have been infantry and cavalry focused, the civilization. because then it would have made more sense with the boot steel bonus actually, but yeah. But that's probably because otherwise it would be too good if you could have like a really insane thing, but yeah. The bonuses are receive 200 wood when advancing to the next stage, so you get 200 bonus wood each time. And I mean, you begin in Dark Ages, right? Feudal, Castle, and Imperial. So I mean, I believe since that doesn't add 200 wood in the start of the game, it doesn't. But yeah. So that's like 600 more wood if you get to all ages. Fishermen and fishing ships carry plus 15, which is nice. Of course, you can fish if the fish are along the coast, if you have villages and stuff that is also important to remember, but you want to have a mill nearby. I think it's to the mill they deliver, right? The fish, or do they deliver it to the dock? I forgot. Barrack technologies cost 50% less. There aren't that many technologies technically via the barracks, although technically I believe they count as technologies the one when you upgrade the unit. So when you upgrade like the militia to the swordsman, or to like the men at arms and stuff that, and you know, so on and so forth. Skirmishers and elephant archer attack 10% faster, and the team bonus is docks provide 5+ population space, so they work as houses. Yeah, they work as houses. Docks, so I mean, you can just build a bunch of docks, you know. So that is pretty good on water maps, you know, as long as there is some bit of water, you know, it's pretty good. Let's go with the unique units then. So Urumi Swordsman is quite unique. It's an infantry unit that charges its attack over a period of time. It increases damage on its first attack against an enemy unit. The short attack also do trample damage, but not regular attacks. So yeah, the fact that it is trample damage means that it can deal AoE to very close enemies. So yeah, I bet it charges this attack over 24 and 20 for the elite 10 seconds. So yeah, so it basically takes a while to charge up, so you kind of get like a meter, I believe, that it charges up in between. It has like a cooldown to it, dealing plus 12 or plus 15 then for the elite melee damage on the first enemy unit attacked. And then the attack bonuses are plus 2 or plus 3 then for elite versus eagle warrior, and then plus 1 or plus 2 elite versus standard building. Blast radius .0.75, 50% damage only when using charge attack. That's the AoE basically. So yeah, the speed is 1.05 and the line of sight is 3. Of course, they can be upgraded to elite in the Imperial Age. The Urumi Swordsman can charge up its attack. The effective charge attack is the result of subtracting the total armor value, including upgrades of the target unit from the Urumi Swordsman's base attack plus charge bonus plus attack upgrades. Importantly, thanks to its splash damage via its charge attack, the Urumi Swordsman can defeat all other infantry in fights with equal resources, especially if they have wood steel researched, because then they of course pierce through armor and stuff that like they basically ignore their opponent's armor, so even like really heavily armored stuff. Individually they may lose against melee units such as samurai and jaguar warriors, but in large army battles they will win thanks to their charged attack splash damage. Even against paladins, Urumi Swordsmen come out ahead with equal resources, though they will lose against battle elephants and war elephants due to their high hit points and trample damage. Cataphracts also win against them with equal resources once all upgrades are required. Importantly, Logistica is needed, or I guess logistics is needed in large fights due to the extra bonus damage against infantry and splash damage. Costeliers and Conics can also beat them with equal resources, but the latter need to be fully upgraded first in both forms. Kiai without relics are evenly matched with equal resources, but with 3 relics, Kai starts to win most of the time. It's also worth knowing that the Kai already ignore armor by design, while a Rumi swordsman needs wood steel to ignore armor. On the other hand, using any kind of trash units such as halberdiers or hussars is a terrible choice against Rumi swordsmen, as they usually be wiped out in the first few seconds of fighting. However, to offset the devastating melee capabilities, Rumi swordsmen are much weaker to pierce attacks than other infantry, having no base pierce armor even as elites. As such, arbalesters and hand cannoniers would make short work of them, while cavalry also and similar unique units such as conquistadors or mangudai, as well as plumed archers, will be able to kite them indefinitely. Slingers will also wipe out Rumi swordsmen easily, as long as they cannot close the distance. Additionally, due to the Davidians lacking several key technologies and having terrible cavalry, Rumi swordsmen and Davidian units in general will be vulnerable against enemy siege, including on-edgers and heavy scorpions. However, Rumi swordsmen are fairly fast for infantry, so throwing some melee units in front of them may be necessary to keep them away from ranged units. So yeah. So you can basically protect them that way, but yeah. We have civilization bonuses. Davidians researching arson and scribes is 50% faster. Alright, because arson and squires are both technologies then. Yeah. Okay, but it doesn't seem that it affects the other thing that you can research, the thing that upgrades them, so yeah. And then of course the other thing is of course the Therisadai, which is a boat. Trained from the dock, it is a massive warship that fires 5 arrows at once, and it's only available in the Imperial Age, so it's a very late unit. Unlike most other unique units, it has no elite upgrade, because that would have been pretty bonkers. The attack bonuses are 9+ versus ships, 9+ versus fishing ship, 9+ versus building, and 4+ versus rams. Rate of fire is 3.45, range is 6, accuracy 100% on the main arrow and 85% on additional arrows. 6 on the main arrow and 7 on additional arrows. Melee armor is 2, piercing is 10, armor classes ships +8, and turtle ship and unique unit speed is only 1.3, so it's pretty slow. Line is 8. Costing twice as much as the galleon. The Therisadai more than makes up for said cost with its stats, abilities, extra armor against anti-ship attacks. With equal resources, Therisadai beat galleons fairly easily. They also do well against caravels, as the line of attack doesn't do that much against high hit point ships. However, longboats beat them with equal resources, turtle ships beat them one-on-one, and with equal resources and fast fire ships will handle Therisadai fairly easily in large numbers. Demolition ships can also be very cost effective against Therisadai if they can hit multiple ships at once. To the directives, we leave Therisadai barely afloat. Due to the shorter range than galleons, Therisadai are best used in a manner similar to the turtle ships, placing themselves in front of the Davidians' own galleons and soaking up damage. Thanks to the Davidians having a full navy tech tree, the Therisadai serves as an excellent late-game addition to the navy when their other bonuses have been used up. The second one elite upgrade also helped the Davidian players save resources that another civilization would spend upgrading their unique naval units, though this is offset by the Therisadai high cost per ship. Therisadai are also slower than galleons, though not as slow as cannon galleons or turtle ships, making them vulnerable to being outmaneuvered. So that is pretty cool. Next up, and finally then it jumped up for whatever reason. Nobody want to go into comment. Last up is the Guriaras Their specialty is cavalry and camel units. Their unique units are Shakram Tower and Shrivamsa Rider and Camel Scout, which replaces the normal Scout. Their unique technologies Kshatriyas, I think that's how you pronounce it. With their units cost minus 25% food. Frontier Guards, Camel Riders and Elephant Archers plus 4 melee armor, which is pretty nice. Civilization bonuses starts with 2 forage pushes, which is nice. So a little bit of an extra initial food. Can garrison mills with livestock to produce food. So you can technically put your sheep into it. It doesn't produce food at a very fast rate though. It's really slow. But if you want to wait with using your sheeps and stuff like that, you know, if you wait a bit with using it, it can be decent. But you need quite a few livestock in the garrison. Multi-units deal 50% bonus damage. Can garrison docks with fishing ships, so you can hide your fishing ships if they are under attack and if they close. So if you build a bunch of fishing traps near the dock, you can basically just go inside the dock when you need to, basically, pretty much. So yeah. And the team bonus is camel and elephant units are created 25% faster, so the Guerrillas is really good to have, of course, if you're the Bengalis, the Dravidians, or anything else that can use this elephants pretty much, so it's very, very nice in that thing. So let's go with the Shakram Tower first. So Shakram Tower is pretty interesting. Shakram are, of course, the metal rings, like discs, kind of often with open in the middle, and it's a infantry unit with a ranged melee attack and unleashes volleys of deadly metal discs. It is effective against groups of enemy units, as the Shakrams cause damage to multiple units in a straight line like the Scorpion, so yeah, which is pretty cool. The attack bonuses are +1, +2, which is the normal versus the elite, and versus Eagle Warriors and standard building. Rate of fire is 2, range is 5 at first, but then on elite it's 6. Accuracy 100%, projectile speed is 6, medium is 1, PSM is 0. Class is infantry and unique unit, speed is 1.15 and line of sight is 7.8, so they have very, very good line of sight, so that's pretty good line of sight actually. With the Guerrillas, we focus on cavalry and camel units. Halberdiers and other infantry can become a problem for them to handle. Shakram Tower are the Guerrillas' main answer to large groups of infantry, able to hit multiple targets in a line, akin to a Scorpion. They also perform well against skirmishers, though hussars are a bit more difficult to handle and should be dealt with via the Guerrillas' very strong camel riders. The Shakram Tower's maximum damage is actually quite low due to lacking blast furnace. And late Shakram Tower can only attain up to 8 attack, so the damage is heavily reduced by melee armor. And I think that can reach 7 or more melee armor will make Shakram Towers ineffective. Examples include Teutonic Knights, Boyars, Syrians, and Bulgarian 200 swordsmen with gains. Additionally, high HP units such as battle elephants or paladins will easily withstand the damage that Shakram Towers can put out. The low damage also requires that Shakram Towers be massed in order to be effective. Small numbers of them will not deter a large group of infantry. Due to the relatively long creation time for a unique infantry unit, massing them can be difficult, especially if the Guerrillas lose any castles. So they actually do take 15 seconds to train, which, I mean, doesn't seem like much, but a lot of things have gotten like faster to train and stuff like that. Yeah. Since they are ranged infantry, arbalesters, hand cannons, and slingers will make short work of Shakram Towers. Additionally, due to Shakram Towers only having up to 6 range, even though their projectile travels further than said range, on garrison Scorpions will easily demolish them, though they take significant damage if the Shakram Towers are able to hit them. So yeah, so the Shakram Tower can also kind of counter back, so you know. So if you can dodge ordinary gears, that can be pretty good. Dodging scorpions are harder though. But yeah. And then of course we have the it does that again. It went back up again. And Srivamsa Rider. So the Srivamsa is pretty cool because it's not what you might expect. Because it's not a camel. It's an horse unit actually. It can be trained at the stable once the castle age is reached, so you don't need to produce it at the castle, which is cool for a unique unit. It's a speedy cavalry unit that can dodge enemy projectiles, which is represented as a second regenerating health bar, which has to be depleted below a certain level before the unit itself takes damage. So it's kind of like an extra armor basically, and they need to empty the meter. Now the thing is, if enough, for example, units attack you, if enough like archers or crossbowmen or, you know, hit you, or arbalest basically, if they hit you with enough units, then they will just rip through the extra meter. But the extra dodge meter, for example, if the enemy units aren't big enough, the range units, and they hit you and they don't concentrate the fire or they spread their fire, then it's like really, really annoying to kill them. Yeah, but only protects from projectile attacks, so yeah. So I kind of went over that, like, don't expect it to work against melee. Melee attacks bypass it completely because you cannot really dodge melee. It is strong versus archers and weak versus pikemen and cavalry. So yeah, it's very, very much a really good anti-archer unit. The speed is 1.6, the line of sight is 5.6, Pearson is 1, which might seem a bit weird, considering it's supposed to be good against the archers and stuff. Rate of fire is 1.75, which is weird because I don't think they're ranged. Maybe they are, but yeah. Yeah, Srivamsa Rider. Dodge mechanic is its main selling point. Its projectile rate avoids consume support gen of its shield gauge, 20% for non-elite and approximately 14% for elite, so it's even better as elite. If the Srivamsa Rider does not have a sufficient amount of its shield gauge, the extra range hit the attack would damage the Srivamsa Rider. Otherwise, no matter how strong the projectile is, the damage is outright negated. This applies to projectile attacks that deal either pierce damage or melee damage, but does not apply against non-projectile range attacks like those of Kamayuks or Steppe Lancers. And faced against a large number of ranged units, the Srivamsa Rider's dodge mechanic can be overwhelmed by sheer volume of projectiles, but a large group of riders will still do very well against most ranged units. Shukonu and Kipshaks, which fire multiple projectiles, can quickly overwhelm the dodge mechanic, especially if steady units are massed. If unable to utilize its dodge mechanic, however, the Srivamsa Rider is underwhelming due to its mediocre stats for its cost. Camel Rider are the worst enemies, and halberdiers are very cost effective against them. So the Srivamsa Rider should avoid fighting these units whenever possible. They are also counted as a unique unit, so Samurai will leave bonus damage to them. They also lose cost effectively against knights, but the Guryara's camels can make short work of them. In general, melee units should be avoided by Srivamsa Riders due to their mediocre stats and their base melee armor. Thankfully, due to their high speed, they can easily outrun just about anything they do not wish to fight. But only 1.6. I'm guessing it's different then, depending on what type of thing they are, because I'm pretty certain that there are things that are like 2.0 in speed and stuff like that, but yeah. Thanks to the dodge mechanics and acceptable damage output despite lacking blast furnace, Srivamsa Riders give the Guryaras another good raiding unit. The Srivamsa won't need to worry that much about defensive towers, though town centers and castles could overwhelm the dodge mechanics due to multiple projectiles. Of course, in town center, keep in mind that you need to actually have a lot of villagers in it for the town centers to be really good with its, you know, thing, because the thing is, like, it uses more projectors pretty much depending on how many are in the town center. So yeah, so if you don't have a lot of villages in the town centers, then it's not as good. But yeah, but castles, you shoot a lot of projectiles by default. And I'm But I don't believe that putting more units into the castle, like garrison them, actually makes them hit fire more projectiles. But yeah, the Super Samurai Rider is the second fastest land unit, only outspied by Imperial Age, Cuman Scout Cavalry, okay. Giving it a huge edge when running away from unfavorable fights, raiding, shooting free cavalry archers, they're most notably catching up with 8 carts. So yeah. So they are pretty good for hit and run tactics, the Super Samurai Rider. Oh wow, it went to the bottom but then went to the... Okay. And then finally the Camel Scout. So yeah, and it's... The Camel Scout is one of 3 unique units, because it does count as a unique unit. Although I believe it has almost the same stats exactly as the regular Scout. It can be trained at the stable once the Feudal Age is reached, so you won't have it in Dark Age. Although I do believe you start with one. It is the Guriara's unique scout unit, any strong versus scout cavalry, Feudal Age onwards. So it won't get the bonus in Dark Age. It will get a bonus though from Feudal Age onwards. And weak versus spearman. Most unique units, camel scouts, do not have an elite version, but are automatically upgraded to camel riders upon reaching Castle Age. So if you have a bunch of camel scouts, they will just become regular camels. Well, is it pretty good if you have a bunch of camel scouts still around, so yeah. Attack bonuses are 6 plus versus cavalry, 3 plus versus camel, 3 plus versus ships, 3 plus versus fishing ship. All of them apply in the Feudal Age. These attack bonuses are reduced by 33% for camel scouts of other civilizations. Red Fire is 2.0. They have no melee armor, no pierce armor, their armor class is camel, their speed is 1.2 in Dark Age and 1.45 in Feudal Age. That's kind of when they work more as a scout. The non speed is 4 in Dark Age and 5 in Feudal Age, and it upgrades to Camel Rider for free, which is nice. Food is 55 and gold is 60 and training time is 38.4 seconds. Yeah, that's quite a lot. Camel Scouts in the Dark Age are almost as good as Scout Cavalry, unless allied with Mongols for scouting. They have the same movement speed and line of sight as Scout Cavalry. For comparison, Eagle Scouts move 8.8% slower but have 1 plus line of sight. Town Center needs 14, 15 and 17 arrows to kill Camel Scouts. So I'm guessing that's depending on their upgrades, I'm guessing. Or depending on the Town Center itself. Alright, so 14 to kill Camel Scouts, 15 to kill Scout Cavalry, and 17 to kill Eagle Scouts, respectively. Okay. They also do not have attack bonuses in the Dark Age, thus making them useless at killing enemy herdables, since they do not do that base 2 damage. Huntable animals deal 15, 10, and 11 attack to Camel Scouts, non-Sicilian, Scout Cavalry and Eagle Scouts, respectively, which means that these animals kill all these scouts in 5 hits. Camel Scouts are much worse in combat, however, trading loss of 1 attack and 2 PS armor for a gain of 25 hit points compared to the Scout Cavalry. They win marginally against Scout Cavalry and lose to villages with Loom, and Eagle Scouts use like Scout Cavalry. Okay. Camel Scouts in the Feudal Age serve as more of an anti-cavalry unit than a scout unit. They gain a massive attack bonus versus cavalry, making short work of Scout Cavalry. They gain 1 plus line of sight and move 20.8% faster upon reaching the Feudal Age, making them much less of a scout than the other 2 units. For comparison, Scout Cavalry gains 2 plus line of sight and move 29.2% faster, while Eagle Scouts gain 3% line of sight. As camels, they still like spearmen and are weak against archers, though not as bad as they are in Castle Age, because the crossbowman is much stronger than the archer. As fast units with high hit points, they are good counter to the skirmisher. Camel Scouts in the Feudal Age are much harder to mass because they need more time to create. Okay, so that's when they get the long training time. So I'm guessing that's training time. Then yeah, that's from the stables. So your initial one is not slow, of course. because they need more time to produce, create a good food economy and a good gold economy, thus combining all the weaknesses of mass producing your scouts and scout cavalry. Camel scouts in team games are very good early feudal age units, since they can kill 2 scout cavalry back to back and thus are great defensive tool for the whole team. As camel scouts are unique to the Guriaras in feudal age, only technologies that are available to them are shown in the following table. So they can get bloodlines for hit points, attack via forging and scale barding armor, and of course upgrades to camel riders. Civilization bonuses, Guriaras, camel scouts deal 50% bonus damage. Camel scouts plays at the start of the game have the option of auto scout. Camel Scout is the only unique unit that can be upgraded to a regular unit. The Camel Scout is one of only two unique units that is available to train in the feudal age, along with the Seriant. The Camel Scout is the only unique unit that is also Scout unit, as the Guriaras begin the game with 1 rather than the usual Scout cavalry. Like the Imperial Camel Rider, the Camel Scout does not have a unique unit armor class and does not receive bonus damage from Samurai. So yeah, so I mean, they're kind of worse than Scout cavalry, but I'm guessing their function is actually to kill other scouts. That's the thing, that you're meant to go after enemy scouts with it and actually kill them. Except you cannot really seemingly do it in Dark Scouts. Yeah, Camel Scout in feudal age, so it's more as a cavalry unit than a scout unit. But I mean, the thing is, Scout cavalry gains 2 plus stance and they moves until 9.2% faster. This one only gains 1 plus loss and 20.8% faster. The speed is though 1.45. So yes, I'm guessing it's not that much higher for Scout cavalry. I'm gonna check the what is it, Scout cavalry? Yeah, the feudal age. You are moving at 1.2 speed and plus 35 upon reaching feudal age. So 1.2 plus the 0.35, that puts it at 1.55 movement speed in feudal age, and 1.2 of course in Dark Age for the Scout cavalry. And the Scout cavalry of course upgrades to light cavalry. And light cavalry is of course in Castle Age, and that's when they become camels. Do we have... can I access it via here? The Camel Scout. Where are you, Camel Scout? Where are you? Shouldn't it be here? Shouldn't it count as... where the hell is it? That is weird if it's not in the cavalry unit section. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, the latter Lithuanians and Poles are only for the Hussar and Winged Hussar. Or are at the Winged Hussar, it's Lithuanians and Poles only. But what the heck, they don't have it here. Or maybe it's where are the camels then? The camels are not even here. There we have the Camel Scout. So it was 1.555. Okay, so it's 1.55 in feudal age. This is 1.45 in Feudal Age and 1.2 in Dark Age. So yeah, but it does not receive the bonus in Dark Age. So I'm guessing it would lose a battle in the Dark Age versus the that scout then. It would probably lose then against the thing. All of them are playing Feudal Age. So the... Oh, no, that's... So it's Camel Rider is Camel Rider in Castle Age. I typical set to Mad Melky, and the Camel Rider only has 22 seconds to train. And it has a 0.145 speed. Wait, is that the same speed? Yeah, 1.45, yeah, okay. And the attack is to heavy Camel Rider. So it's available to the Berbers, Byzantines, Chinese, Cumans, Ethiopians, Gurjaras, Hindustanis, Malians, Mongols, Persians, Saracens, Tatars, and Turks. Heavy Camel Rider are available to the Berbers, Byzantines, Chinese, Ethiopians, Gurjaras, Hindustanis, Malians, Mongols, Persians, Saracens, Tatars, and Turks. So the fact that the Gurjaras can get them is pretty good. So you can take the camel all the way up to the final thing. Except of course the Imperial Camel Rider. Is it better than the Heavy Camel Rider? That is 120 hit points. That's 140. So yeah, so it's stronger than a Heavy Camel. And it's unique to the Hindustanis. So the Elephant Arch is the only unique units. Yeah. Can't I go in on how did I check that? Alright, turn the torch range. So yeah, so that's about it for that. So yeah, I'm losing so much of this that it's turned off again and stuff. That I know that should probably like if I have like music in the background, then it would be so much easier and stuff. That it's weird that it hasn't started raining yet. It has been humid as hell outside, and it's really annoying. Oh wow, that's a cool steering wheel. First burp. Oh, they're gonna reboot the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, that might work again if they manage to get the right actors for it, and not make it, you know, go broke, you know. Or Fanatec BMW Podium M4 GT3. So this is not a replica. Okay. Developed together with BMW M Motorsport. The podium steering wheel BMW M4 GT3 is the actual wheel made for the 2022 BMW M4 GT3 race car. it doesn't get more authentic than this. For the first time in sim racing is that a steering wheel has been developed for both a real race car and for sim racing, just for realism ends here. What you buy on this page is 100% what we designed for BMW and Motorsport. Okay, more than meets the okay. An array of 12 front-facing buttons plus 2 more at the rear, are perfectly placed for quick access, dual action push and pull, magnetic shifters, allowing upshifting and downshifting on the same pedal, or they can function as 4 separate inputs. The grip-mounted rotary encoders have strong positive click, using Hall sensors for precision and reliability. The RGB LEDs behind all 12 front-facing buttons, plus backlit multi-position switches means you always find in the E2 competition. Okay, so that's kind of made for like, you know, like when racing cars, when they are driving like on an endurance circuit and they drive like in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And then they're driving in like very dark in the cockpit, and then you basically need to have it lit up on the steering wheel so you can see what you're actually pressing, like on the real steering wheel itself and stuff like that. Yeah. Programmable via CAN bus in the real car. Yeah, they even mentioned that here. And via FanLab on your PC. The backlit buttons can even function as rev LED or tire slip indicators. 15,000 Swedish kronor if you want to buy one today. You have to wait until earliest 25th of November to get it, if you buy it even today. Okay, and it's Fanatec 31 centimeters wide and 21 centimeters high. Okay, and it's carbon fiber or carbon composite, basically like what car bodies are made of mostly nowadays, and F1 cars, Formula E cars, bikes even. Okay, it looks so fucking cool, but it looks weird. Is it that dirty, or is it meant to be some sort of camouflage color on it? Like, why does it look weird like that? Let me actually check it closer here. Right, is it that dirty, or is that supposed to be like a camouflage pattern? I can't tell. I can tell. Can you tell? Chat, can you tell? I mean, is it meant to be a camo, or is it meant to be used like gnarly and stuff? I mean, it does look cool, like you know. It does look pretty fucking cool, man. Pretty cool, but I mean, like, wow, that's expensive, man. But I mean, hey, man, if you want to have one, really, I mean, the question is though, like, what consoles will it work for? Will it be like future-proof? Because it's bullshit, you know, when they released certain arcade sticks that were really good for like the PS4 and stuff that, and then, oh, these won't work on the PS5, or oh, but I believe, for example, there were certain like PS3 fight sticks that could still like work on the PS4, I believe. I mean, at least, I mean, right, because if there are ones that work for PC also, couldn't you update it via PC? Like update the actual drivers or whatever inside the, you know, thing or whatever, but yeah. It actually looks pretty cool. Okay, so they have made a video about it. That is pretty cool. What is the video though? I don't see the video here. Okay, tomorrow they're gonna publish that, okay. Yeah, but that is fucking cool. I'm not super big into BMW these days. I mean, I prefer older BMW cars, the rally car, especially the, what is it, 2000 something turbo. That one was pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, same thing with Mercedes, like this SLK, like touring cars, the one like that I used for like racing were really cool and stuff like that, but yeah. Nice. Sweet. Excellent. without a doubt. I have a wonderful recipe. Bring 2 gnomes, 2 eggs. Beat the gnomes, separate the eggs. Or was it details? What? It's high noon. Anyway, I think that's gonna about to do it actually for today. Yeah, I actually wanted to talk way more about the vampires. There were some other things that I was gonna mention, but yeah, I mean, it is really good. Like, the thing is just that it's pretty insane, as you saw with actually how many civilizations they've added over time. Basically, it's like very cool. Hopefully these won't mess up the audio when you do this and stuff that. And I just need to double check. So it hasn't been that I've been on the like the thing. Like, you know, in the bathroom. And stuff that. Okay, so it's still working. Well, it's very loud all of a sudden. Man, that's really cool. So good. It is so weird here where it says that it's only 2 channels, 116 bits and like 48,000 Hertz DVD quality. And I believe you can actually get more quality out of the microphone somehow. But I forgot exactly how to do that. Because supposedly there is supposed to be like a built-in like sound card on it. But I don't know where it was that you would plug it in then. If you like... Because I mean, I did check below here. There is like a headphone jack, and and I don't know if you're meant to, like, if that's the thing that it's meant to be or whatever, but yeah, or maybe microphones doesn't have that much high quality than that. Because I mean, like, my actual audio in this is, of course, it's 32-bit and it's 192,000 hertz, which is studio quality. And that 32-bit means that when you're recording in something like the, like, I record via the software I have with the like graphic cards and stuff that. And via that, when I go in on it, and go on there, like the recording stuff, not there, of course, not there. I mean, in where is it? No, not there either. Oh, there it is. Alright, I was clicking in the wrong thing, but yeah. So it's basically the bit rate for the audio, which is 320 bit or kilobyte per second. That's the highest one you can select. I believe that's actually what it is, because it says like 32-bit here. The hertz value doesn't really matter, but the 320 here that you can choose as the highest. I believe that's what they mean with the 32-bit, because I don't think the 192,000 hertz means the actual like bit rate. Like when you're streaming, the maximum you can have is 192, and I don't think that 192 kbps per second is meant to be the 192,000 hertz. I actually think that the 32 bits is meant to be like the 320 thing. So the other thing is otherwise it's 24 bits or it's 16 bits. Because otherwise there is no way you can reach 320,000 hertz with this regular type of things. But yeah, because I mean the other things is of course 24 bits and 16 bits and stuff like that. But yeah. So yeah. just need to double check those things. Hopefully you cannot hear that. And stuff that, so yeah, it's working fine. You know, which is nice. Yeah, so anyway, I think that's actually gonna do it. I'm just gonna go in and change back the like the screensaver, so the screensaver will be able to go on again. So change that to 3 minutes, and then switch off the recording mode here, recording and upload mode, engage, and then into the balanced settings, because then it goes into rest mode in 20 minutes. It goes into saving like electricity in 10 minutes, and it turns off the screen in 5 minutes, and then turns off the hard drive after 1000 minutes. But that's only the built-in hard drive. I don't think that's affecting the USB hard drive. So boom, boom. I'm just testing the screen, so it's working okay, good. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for the for the 19th of May 2022. Hope you have enjoyed this, and I will of course I know I still haven't done the video about the PlayStation games. The main problem is it's quite a few works to get all of the games, and maybe I will split it into 2 parts, and one where I cover some other PS2 games. I don't have, of course, all the PS2 games anymore, because they have been like PlayStation 2 games that I sold, and same thing with PS1 games. There were PS1 games that I actually did sell and stuff that, so I don't have all of them anymore and stuff that, because yeah, like I sold like Soul River 2, for example, I did sell, even though it was like a Christmas game that I got at one point. But yeah, but Soul River 2, you know, it was really cool, you know, back when I got Soul River 2, which was during Christmas. But then I beat it in like 2 days. I beat it on the 2nd day, and then I didn't play it super much either on both of those days, and it was just, you know, yes, sure, you could play through it multiple times, but it wasn't like any extra stuff to get in it compared to like Soul River 1. In Soul River 1 there were a lot of stuff that you can find if you wanted to 100% it, but you know, so yeah. And of course, actually one funny thing is that the studio Crystal Dynamics, and I believe another part of it, because they were part of Eidos and I believe Crystal Dynamics joined together, and the Swedish company actually bought up both Crystal Dynamics and Eidos at the same time, I believe. So they have access to a bunch of franchises, including, of course, Soul River, Amy Henning's kind of story thing. But yeah, and of course, I really hope something they could do, which is what I really hope for, is a Legacy of Kain collection. Even just to master, they don't need to make remakes of the game. Although, I mean, a remake of both Blood Omen games, or a remake of all the games, would be really cool, but that's probably ways off if they would ever do that. But it would be cool with at least cool remasters, maybe remastered to 4K, 60 FPS, maybe even higher FPS, maybe 120 FPS, you know, run smooth, you know, 4K, you know, because, you know, the graphics are old, so 4K wouldn't be, you know, but still, I mean, make it look nice, you know, and stuff that, like, make it a collection. Blood Omen 2, I forgot what the undertitle for Blood Omen 2 was. I know it has another title, but Blood Omen 1 did not have another title, but it was Blood Omen, and it was Soul River 2, and I believe after Soul River 2 was Blood Omen 2 in terms of when it were released, and then Legacy of Kain Defiance. So it's Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, or was it just called Blood Omen, or was it called Legacy of Kain Blood Omen? Because it was Legacy of Kain Soul River, Legacy of Kain of course Soul River 2, Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2, and then of course Legacy of Kain Defiance. And Defiance was the last one. Technically there was the Noscott game, which was kind of like a multiplayer thing. I don't know much what happened to that. I mean, it kind of flopped, so, you know, and stuff that, you know, and there were like things that meant to happen. That's why, back when I had a thing that allowed me to play international games, it only worked back on the thick old PlayStation. There was an expansion port back there, and that's where you plugged in the cheating device. But it wasn't the cheating device that allowed you to technically play the US games, and I only had one US game, which was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and there was a spring that you put into where the thing is that stops the that makes it so that you close the lid, but when the spring was there, it wouldn't close the lid completely. The lid would, instead of being fully closed, it would be open a bit, but it would still count as being closed. It would trick the console that it was closed when it was still open, and that basically also made it so that it couldn't feel when you open the lid. So it will think that the lid is closed when it's not closed. So that means that you could open up the lid, switch the disc, and it only checks the if the game is European or American. It only checks that at first. So you put in a European disc, and then when it shows the PlayStation logo, there thing, at that point you switch out the game to the US game, and then boom, you're past the regional lock and stuff. That's it. That was pretty cool. But on that cheating device, the cool thing about that device, I didn't really use it for the cheat codes, because the European cheat codes, by the way, it's not like the Game Shark. Game Shark codes does not work in Europe, by the way, and in PAL region, and the cheat codes here kind of suck compared to the cool stuff you could do with the Game Shark. Yeah, because to Final Fantasy 7 you cannot even add separate or anything like that in the PAL region. That was US and Japan only kind of thing. But yeah. But for example, you could go in and check the files of a game, so you could see cinematics and stuff like that. But then you could also find audio files and stuff like that, and extra files. So you could go in around and dig into the disk. So you could put in the disk in the console and not start the game. Because of the cheating device, it kind of brings up a boot menu, and you can see the menu of the actual cheating device. And then you could go in basically into the folder of a game, and you could actually explore the game folder. You might say, oh, but you can do that on PC now, and we cannot really put in a PlayStation Edition make it work on PC. There's probably going to be emulation that you could do, that could probably do something similar, but yeah. But there were so many other clips in Legacy of Kain, obtaining the light reaver, and Arya saying something, oh, you must or something, or I must sacrifice myself, or you must kill me to bathe the reaver in light, or whatever. There were so many extra dialogues that were never meant into the game, and extra content and stuff that. So yeah, so that's of course why Legacy of Kain remake of Soul Reaver would be so cool, and also Blood Omen as well. But yeah. So yeah. But yeah. Because if they do make a collection, even if they used to make it an HD collection, it would still be really, really cool. Especially with the quick load times and stuff there, but yeah. And it could also be something, where you could put a bunch of bonus materials, and you could maybe put in those hidden audio dialogues from the game discs and stuff, that the hidden audio that was on the disc and stuff that, stuff that, because there's so much cool material and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, this has been Xenoxis course for the 19th of May 2022. I hope you all enjoy this, and I see you all next time. Have a good one.